Ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you guys are tuning in, hit that thumbs up. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. You guys see that crazy thumbnail, you see that crazy title of me going up 2.4k in the first 5 minutes to then red 800 to then red 1200 to then back to green 1k. Ladies and gentlemen, it was quite the day. It's been quite the month. I think this has been the most volatile month, and it offered the most opportunity out of every single month of the year. I'm doing a decent job, but man, oh man, could we have been doing better? And today is another one of those days where there's a lot of lessons for me to take away, right? Now, before we get into it, right, because the questions are still the same. Hey, Relentless, where were you looking to go long? Where were you looking to manage risk on those trades? How did you find the stocks you traded today? Before we get into it, guys, just a quick reminder again of the disclaimer, because day trading is risky, and this continues to be the hardest thing that I do on a daily basis. I've done a lot of things, I've been through a lot of experiences here so far in my young adult life here, and man, day trading has these other things beat by far. This is so challenging. It's like mental warfare, psychological torture at times. And we're all here in the market and we're witnessing the greatness that's going on. And we know the potential, we know the opportunity. But with that being said, there's also risk. And being able to come and manage and at times dodge and maneuver in a way where we're retaining more than we're losing can be quite the task. It can be quite difficult. And so for those reasons, trading is hard. One, mastering the strategy is hard. Two, the emotional side of it, the mental side of it, having to stay focused and stay calm and keep your cool, your poise, regardless of the outcome in the situations, is extremely difficult. It's a performance-based sport to a degree, and we give ourselves the best chance when we remain at an equilibrium. The moment we get too high or too low, automatically we're at a disadvantage and the game is already as hard as can be. So remember the disclaimer. Remember that day trading is risky. Remember that day trading is hard and that a lot of people are having a hard time trading, okay? So if you're new, if you're not quite consistent, as you're going through the learning curve, utilize small size, utilize paper trading, utilize risk money, utilize the simulators. Ensure that your tuition to the market is on the lower side as you go through your learning curve. Remember, secondly, the live streams and recaps are not an invitation to copy trade. The strategy is intricate and detailed, and it's been 5 years of me learning and improving and refining. So no one can just show up and say, hey, Relentless is buying, I'm going to try and buy fastest way to blow up an account. You have to understand strategy. Lastly, remember, I do not invest money for my subscribers. A lot of fake accounts are popping up, people pretending to be me. I do not invest money for my subscribers. So let's talk about how I found the stocks that I traded today and what entries and exits I was looking at. So first and foremost, I use the scanner platform called Momo Pro. This is how I found all the stocks today. I use this no filter here every morning and I scroll down to see which stocks are leading here in percentage order. And I come in and I also check for volume. So you'll see SIDU is here up 130%, 18 million shares of volume. The float, aka, like the shares outstanding, is limited. There's only 700,000 shares outstanding, versus other companies, large cap companies, Apple, there are billions of shares, which means that there's more supply, right? Going back to economics 101, with a ton of supply, it's that much more difficult to get an impact. You'll need much more demand. So when you have 18 million shares of volume, but there's only 700,000 shares available, there's shares that are being rotated so quickly. There's a lot of the imbalances, and we can see a squeeze, right? So this is how I found the stocks that I traded today. And in terms of patterns, right? Patterns and setups, right? I'm gonna quickly pull up the classes here, just so we can see the list of the uh, 15 plus edges that we have. We'll come down to chapter 32 here, or chapter 24 can work actually. Chapter 24 rather, and chapter 24. Right here, we have all the edges listed, right? We have the bull flag, we have the VWAP pullback, the ABCDW, right? The 3-bar play, the flat top breakout, the baby pullback, and the list goes on. The cup and handle, the red to green, the wedge, the bear trap, right? The 5-minute pullback, and so forth. So those are the pattern, and a lot of those patterns are famous patterns. They'll be known worldwide and globally recognized around the community for investing, swing trading, and day trading, right? So the way how I take on these patterns is by buying and selling hundreds of times throughout a day. And I call it here, we call it in this community hyper scalping. We're in, out. And so Relentless, where were you looking to aggressively be in, out multiple times on the stocks that you traded today? So first and foremost, if we come over here to the monitor section, this will show us all the stocks we've traded and our performance on those stocks. And we started off the day on stock NVFY up 2.2K. And so let's take a quick look at the charting, and I'll show you guys a sneak peek of the archive, just a few trades. We're not going to go over everything. My students usually have full access to this right here. So I don't want to give it all away, right? But quickly, first, before we look into it, let's go over the charting. So we're going to look at NVFY first. Here we go. Let's pull it back. Let's bring it back. So pre-market, you can see not nothing special. For those of you who are new, pre-market is the time before the official opening bell, before the open, 9:30. Anything before 9:30 is pre-market. So I start trading at 9:30, which is right after this gray area here. And so the moment we get into the open, the first thing you'll realize is that there's more volume. So in pre-market, you'll see that there's volume, right? What's that, 155,000 shares on one of our higher volume candles. But really and truly, the volume doesn't really get in there up until the open. So when we zoom out in comparison, look at this, 1.3 million shares in our first candle into the open. And I started watching this thing, and I'm like, man, this thing looks pretty decent. The level 2 is holding up. I'm going to start taking some trades in here. And in the first 5 minutes, I got myself up to 2K. So Relentless, the first entry that you're looking at. So our last candle rather in pre-market had a high of 467. And we started to push up, right? We opened at 456. And so we pulled back to 50, and over that level of 67, we started ripping. So this is like essentially now an opening surge, which is also another pattern or edge we have listed on that list that we looked at earlier. So it's surging up, and the highs were at $6. So I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a chance this thing gets all the way to 6. We've been in a market where stocks have been going up very fast, very quickly. I want to make sure I start getting involved. So you know what? Let's pull up the video at this point, and let's see exactly where my first trade came. Because even that, for me, my memory here, it's hard to remember exactly the very first entry that I took. So okay, we had the high of 67, as I just mentioned. There's 70, there's 80. So at this point, I start paying attention to it. There's 88. I think I'm gonna try for break of 5. It gets up to 5, and it rejects the level initially. So I'm watching here. I'm like, I'm gonna throw out an order, mid 80s, to see how well we can get back to that level of 5, and if we can potentially break. So Relentless, okay, you're in mid 80s here. What are you looking for in terms of a stop? Well, if it comes down, and I'm aiming for 85, in the moment I'm thinking I'm in 85, I don't check my fill immediately. But if we start to pull back below 80, I'm looking to get out there, quick, tight stop, 5-cent risk. Not looking to let it go all the way down to 50 before I cut the trade. So I'm watching here, and I see 94. Okay, it's not quite going. I need to wait some more. Maybe it needs to drop down, a couple more cents. So I'm still watching here. I want to see if we can continue to hold. And we can see that we went from 79 all the way back to 94 in an instant. So I'm like, okay, are we going to see the break of 5? The break of 5 is a breakout over a key level, whether it's a break of 1, a break of 2, break of 3, break of 4, and so forth, under the context of us being super volatile and there also being a ton of buying. Okay, I'm buying here between 90 and 5. Let's assume I get filled 98. Relentless, if you're in 98, what are you looking for in terms of stop? Again, I'm looking to keep it very tight. If it doesn't go immediately, I'm going to try to sell out, break even. If it comes down and it's starting to look, like selling is coming in, because this is a breakout trade. If I'm in, it needs to be breaking out. If not, I need to be out. If selling starts to come in, I don't want to lose more than 10 cents in a situation like this. My share size is small because it's early, and I'm still trying to take things a little slow. So I'm in at 5, and here's my first decent trade. Stock in a mere instant is at 520 on the ask. So I have a small size, 1,000 shares. Look, I got filled 95, which is a pretty decent fill in the middle of the spread there. Um, with 1,000 shares, every penny up or down is $10. I'll be making or losing. And 1,000 times 4.95 is $4,950. So at this point, I'm using $4,900 of my own money to be able to afford 1,000 shares, right? So with that $4,000 that I just utilized, I now have made, let's see, where do I get out? I get out between 20 and 27. It's still going up as I'm selling, right? So with that $4,900, I was just able to make over $200 in a mere instant. Now, this is still the culmination of 5 years of me studying and refining this pattern, having the confidence, the intuition, the experience, and so much more to even be able to identify, recognize, and take this trade. So whilst it's quick, it still took years and a lot of time for me to be able to do this. Right? Now you might say, Relentless, with $4,900, what is the risk on that? How much of that can I lose? Can I lose all of it? Well, perhaps for me to lose all of it, it's kind of difficult though, right? For me to lose all of that money, I need to be in at 495 like I'm in. And for me to lose everything, the stock needs to go to zero. And this is where the other side comes in, because I can teach someone a strategy, right? I have the classes there that teaches people this strategy that I trade. But the other side of it is, can you be disciplined to stick to the strategy? Can you be in a place where you have that equilibrium? Can you be in the Goldilocks zone at all freaking times? All times, always. Because when people lose big trading this strategy, it's because they get emotionally fueled. They get frustrated. They get tied to the stock. They marry to the stock. And before you know it, when it does go down where we should be selling in an instant, they say, you know what? I'm not selling. I'm going to keep holding this thing. And sometimes, we can even fall into a bad habit of even averaging down, which means we're taking on more risk. We're buying even more, putting in more cash as the stock is failing. And we expose ourselves to a tremendous amount of risk where we can lose a lot more. So I think for people who have, maybe let's say you're good with like video games, you're quick on your toes, you're quick on your feet, and you're good with computers and keyboards, and typing. What is it called? Cognizant. What's the word? If you can be quick, right? If you can be quick-minded and you don't mind cutting the trades, you can stand a chance in this field. But the moment you have issues mentally, that's where you have a problem. So I'm in, I'm out, and I got a pretty poor fill because I should have made more money than that. I mean, come on. It drops back so fast to 512. But I have another pattern coming up that I look for, which is called, hey, can we hold above the whole dollar? And I'm watching here to recognize this by checking to see how much red is coming in on the tape and how much the bids are pulling back. If we're holding high, there's a chance this thing continues to go. So we pull back right here to 5, and I'm like, I'm going to give it a shot. I don't think that the red that's coming in is tremendous. I buy, but look at what's happening. it continues to drop, and it drops all the way to 89. So again, the risk is real. So I sell flat, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep watching this thing. Let's see how well it continues to hold. So the drop there was a little bit bigger than I would have wanted to see. But again, when the trade is going against me, this particular trade right there was, hey, I don't want to see this thing go anything below 95, right? Well, the whole dollar is at 5. If it's going to hold up the area, I want to see it holding close to that level, slightly below or slightly above. I'm in. The moment it breaks down, there is no let me wait and see. There is no hey, let's see what it does. No, it's just the strategy is telling me sell it, sell it, sell it, because there are going to be the days where it holds up 5, it gets back to 527 at the high, and it keeps going. And those are the days where we're adding to the gains. So to keep the losses small, we have to keep cutting the trades quickly, right? So it's going to pull back here. So we just had a low of about 85, I believe. And I'm going to watch here. I'm going to get in down here in this area. But I believe I'm going to botch the trade. So it comes down to 79. I try for 79. I get the fill 85. Okay, it does come back up nicely. So this is us. So instead of the stock holding 5, the stock pulled all the way back to 85. And I tried right there. And again, I'm looking for a very tight stop. Hey, I'm aiming for 79 entry. If it keeps going down, I'm going to be out immediately. If not, can we see the curl back up? And for me, in at 85, out at 505 area, this is a great trade. And now I increase my size. It pushes all the way to 25. How well are we going to hold up this area here now? Are we going to come back to 85? Or are we going to hold up the $5 range? So there's 96. And the moment I see 96 and it gets back above 5, I'm already thinking, okay, this looks like it wants to hold up this area. Time to get aggressive, time to get in, and time to watch for the bigger move. I happen to get a great fill right there. I think I sold a little too soon. You're seeing me buying back here. That's because I know I should still be in the trade. Can we see that push? Can we see that push? It's not quite going. And you can see I'm a little uncertain in the area there. I sold twice, but we never broke back below 5. So I could have been a little bit more patient to hold that first position to get the push over 525 to 527. Can we see it? There it is. And this is the difference with a hot market and a cold market. In a cold market, look at how much the stock has moved already. We went from 450 to almost 550. In a cold market, it would have took us an hour for the stock to go from 5 back to 540, 527 area. In this moment, it does it in an instant. So I'm in and I'm back out. And I'm comfortable using more size here because I'm getting a good read on it and I think it's moving well. And so I went up all the way, guys, to $2,400 here, trading just like this, right? So here we go, 1,800, 2,200, and we made a little bit more before we gave back there. Maybe we can come, maybe it's later into the move, but anyhow, another stock is gonna come along, and let me show you guys here. We've already saw some losing trades, right? Let's look at the risk. Let's look at the risk. So this is now the halt resumption pattern that I look for, and this is on a different stock called CING. So at the time I'm down 117, and so what time is it here? 45. The first 15 minutes were already super green. At this point in time, I'm not thinking that I'm gonna go back red. I'm thinking I can have a loss of like 800, maybe 1K max, but we'll still be green. We can, do damage control, essentially get back a little bit, more consistent, and then increase size again. Look at this disastrous trade. And again, I want to emphasize us cutting losses and, getting back on track, right? So here's the resumption. CING. Here's the resumption. We got a high of, hold on. Hold up. All right, so yeah, we've got the resumption. I'm down 117, and look at how volatile and fast the stocks are moving. Actually, it is risky. We went from about 12.50 or so down to $12. Let's just take one more look at this, and then I'll let it play. Yeah, 12.50 down to $12, right? And again, I'm gonna look to be very aggressive here for the move back up. So what's the risk right here, right? Let's talk about the risk. So it's a resumption. I typically want to see some form of a dip and rip. What is the risk right here? The risk is that I buy the hold because now it's coming back into a similar setup that I took before, which is, hey, can we hold up $5? Right now it's, hey, can we hold up $12? There is no guarantee this thing stops right here from going down. But I'm buying under the assumption that I can sell very quickly and be out maybe at 1180. And hey, I don't mind losing 200-300 bucks taking this trade for the chance of us potentially getting back to 1250 and maybe a new high, because that's how these stocks move. The strategy is designed for how the stocks typically move, right? So there, well, we're gonna see the risk to the extreme, so we'll let it play. I'm in. Can we bounce? Look at this. In a mere instant, once again, I'm in at 1207. We're already at 1270, and I'm up $600 unrealized. So what am I looking to do right here? I'm looking to take profits. Hey, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I'm looking to sell. And so I sell in between the spreads, but the bid is already coming back down, which is not really great because we should continue to I should be selling and getting a fill at like 1280, 1290 because it should still be going, but it's coming down quick. So we hit 12 right there. 12, well, 1210, and right here I get a little bit more aggressive trying to buy the dip. I'm gonna let it play out. I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna let the entire thing play. I'm in. I'm out. There's 1222. So there's a spread there. There's a spread. There's 1222 by about 1250. I buy more size this time, but I'm trying to get in on the lower side around 2530. So I'm in kind of high right here. It goes to 60 on the ask. It's already kind of like side. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cut that scratch. Let's wait. And I'm gonna watch for the same trade right here. There's 01 and then there's 08. And watch this. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna take 01, 08 area, and I'm gonna look for the same trade again. Can we get back now this time for real? Can we get the 13 and the halt up 1337? So I'm in, and watch this. Watch this disaster right here. Without warning. This is the ultimate risk for me. This is the ultimate risk for me. Whilst I'm in at 1210, I'm thinking if this thing starts to come down, I'll be able to get out at 1180. Worst case scenario, I'll lose like 800. Can I get out 1180 with now 2,000 shares? Every penny the stock goes up or down, I'll be making $20 or losing $20. So from 12, every 10 cents is 200. If I sell at 12, I'll lose 200. If I sell at 90, I'll lose 4. If I sell at 80, I'll lose 6, and so forth. Even if I lose 800 and I'm out at 70, it's not great, but we saw how quickly it just went up. And so I'm watching for that same trade with more size and more follow through this time. Why in the world did we skip over $1 of people trying to buy? It's just disappointing. On this left hand side, this is where people are trying to buy, right? On this left hand side is where people are trying to buy. And I guess we could say the stock wasn't as liquid, but for sure, I was kind of seeing it. But yet again, my level two, I don't have as many. I don't have the room for more market depth because I could have more layers here to see more prices all the way down, and I'm assuming that there's has to be buyers going down, but it just completely tanks. And where I thought I might have lost at best 500, 600 worst case scenario, I'm losing $2,000 worst case scenario. And my very good start to the day has went to the depths. Even the trade that I just had that should have been like a $600-700 winner, we don't quite get the good fill. This is brutal right here. This is my single biggest loss in like years. Um, and that's okay. I take this pattern all the time. It's just a little disappointing. Now, there is one thing that I will say that could have saved me here. One thing and one thing only is that usually when this pattern is strong, the very first time we dip and we go up, it never comes back down. That is something that I think I could have considered a little bit more on this trade. But in the moment, I'm not gonna give myself a hard time. I thought it looked good. And so I got completely punched in the mouth right here. And despite trying to manage the risk tightly, I kind of just got caught. I tried selling on the way down. I filled half the position. The other half got filled on the resumption after the matter. Tried to take some trades out of that too. Didn't really work out well. But here's where things here's where things got like very disappointing for me, right? So whilst I'm caught in the halt down, there's a breakout here on NVFY, which is the other stock that I was already green on, right? So let's come back. So I'm kind of watching at it here early, so I'm paying attention to it, which is good. Hey, can we get some trades going here? There's 90. Are we going to see a break of 5? I need to be ready here to punch the order. I'm a little I'm a little slow right there. See, this is not good. Like I should have been in there like 92. Look at how this is just building up. 90. Like I should have already been in. I should have already been in. Should have already been in. Instead, I'm super super slow getting in. I'm in all the way at 5. There's not much room for profits here unless it really just takes off. But I should have been in at like 95. And if I take the 10 cents, okay, cool. How well can we hold up the $5 area? It seems to be holding fairly high. There's a good push. But what I want to what I really want to show here is that this loss didn't really stun me. Like I'm still looking for the good trades. Okay, granted I was a little slow, but I'm doing what I need to do, which is to stay cool, calm, and keep watching for more opportunities. But things are gonna get a little disappointing here. SIDU. This continues to be the easiest, hardest thing I do. Like, it's easy in the sense that I'm punching buttons, clicking buttons. It's hard in the sense that mentally, I mean, just goodness sake, man. Look at this SIDU, right? And I'm showing way too much. I shouldn't really be showing this type of archive. Mm, 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 mm. So SIDU starts to move. But initially, when I see the stock, I'm like, I don't know about the stock, right? I mean, is it trustworthy? Is it safe? So I'm gonna pull it up right here. There we go. I see it right up at $7. It jumps all the way to 7.24, but then immediately is at 6.84. Just take a look at that again. This is my first impression. They say first impressions matter, right? This is my first impression. 75 by 95, which is already a big 20-25 cent spread. And then, okay, 20, well, I guess, yeah, 24 by 10. And then from 24 to 81, and then 16 by 81. I'm like, I don't know if I want to use size right here. Especially after I just took that kind of loss. I'm like, maybe I need to be more conservative, make sure this thing is good. So I'm gonna even go from just 1,000 base size to just 500, just in case, because I don't really need to be taking too many big losses. At this point, I'm red 700 on the day, because we gave back a little bit of profits on NFBY, whatever the other stock was. We're up like 1,700 on that one, and we're red 26 on the other one, right? So we're down like 700. So I come down in size and I'm watching it here. Okay, the spreads tighten up a little bit, but you can see 75 by 90 is still pretty big. So I'm not convinced that I should be using size. So, okay, I'm going to take the break of 7 again. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to take 500 shares. This time I'm a little quicker than the last time. I got a better fill. So you can see a lot of this stuff is like the same entries over and over and all day long, right? And the key is to manage the risk. I get a decent fill there, and I'm gonna wait to see if it wants to go some more. Boom! It goes all the way up to 49. It goes to 49. and I get a miraculous fill there. And it's a great trade. We make about 40 cents. So we're in at 95. We're out about 40 area, right? And it's a great start to the move. It continues higher. I get back in higher. I'm right here. Right, man, I tell you, man, this day trading thing. I get back in right here, break of 50. This is now break up to half dollar, tight stop. I'm in. I get my fill I need. It pushes up to the halt level. I try to sell on the ask. And then right here, I'm like, okay, as the spreads tighten up, I just mark it out. So great start. Again, after this 2K loss, I've done everything correctly. I'm not stunned. I'm not dazed. I'm not like mad. I'm not frustrated. But here's where the day takes a turn. This is where I start to really make mistakes, and then the sequence of events is just unfortunate for me, right? So watch this. Okay, we're up 350. Great positioning for the stock to get aggressive. You can see I have 1,500 shares at the ready, and time is going. I pull up another order entry with more size, and I think this is where I'm going to have my first issue. So the resumption is coming up at 28.42. At 28.42, and I think we have about a minute. Let's so very close to the resumption. You can see I switch my level 2 over to the one in the middle. It's easier for me to look at. It's just, but it's not necessary at the same time. And I switched this window from 25 to the other window to 25. But what happened to me is that I kind of like, started thinking about doing this a little too late. And the halt level is going to come up. I'm going to adjust size or something. I did some nonsense here again. I, or I'm mistaken. Let's watch. Where is it? Okay, let's go back. It's coming up. Okay, resumption. Okay, this looks like a fair resumption. Looks like I'm paying attention. I thought there's an area where I made a mistake. But anyhows, we have 770 and we resume at $8. There's a high of 820 right now. Okay, I see. So from 770, we go to 820 and it just doesn't dip. Look at the ask. The ask goes to 40. Right here I was about to buy. But I'm like, when I see 31 and this bit of red, I'm like, no, it's not the time. And I'm thinking maybe it's gonna drop down, maybe back to 770 or something. And there's 10, and the ask is still at 30, 40. And right here, once the ask breaks over 40, is where I would have needed to buy. Or I could have already been in, but I think waiting for the ask to break over 40 would have been better. So the spread's tight right here. I probably would have gotten filled at 45.50, somewhere on the higher side. But you can see how this resumption played out in a way where typically, like, the last halt we saw, we want a clear drop. And I just was not aggressive enough. I thought I had some, like stuff I was trying to do with the size, but I might have mistaken. But it just didn't dip enough. And I wasn't super confident, even with 1,500, to just buy right here. But I needed to. I would have been in 45.50. Right, I would have gotten filled already. I would have gotten filled. And then look at this. There's the halt at 80. 30-cent move. That right there would have fully restored my confidence. Despite already doing well after that big loss, that trade would have fully restored my confidence, man. But it just wasn't super clear for me. And then the next resumption is where things go south. Because we usually will resume on a 5-minute interval. 5 minute, 10 minute, or 15 minutes. This other resumption was like 12 minutes. And so it's been like 8 months since we saw an off 5-minute interval. And hold on, where was the last one? We were at 880. This one is gonna catch me off guard. So this one is gonna catch me off guard. I'm not paying attention to it, and it's gonna resume. So the moment I see the movement in the side of my eye, I start to scramble to get my hands back in position on the keys. And there's 9 right here. Right here is where I saw the level 2 for the first time after like looking at my keyboard, my mouse, making sure it's good. When I looked up, I saw 880. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is this the dip? Is this the dip? And I'm like, I had the urge, the instinct to buy, but I'm like, damn, if I do it, I'm just buying in. I'm buying blind because I saw nothing else. And it turns out that it's going to hold. I would have probably been filled at 990 or 890. And look at this, 50 on the ask. This stuff is like limited margin. Any hesitation, any like slackness, you're missing this. I think I would have been out in this area, and perhaps I would have bought back right at 50 for the breakout again. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, but for sure break of 50, like right here, 65, I'm definitely going to be buying. And this is going to go into the next halt up here over time. It takes a little longer than I remember, but it gets up there though, there's 90 eventually. So at this point, I just missed the entire move, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, that was the second halt. I'm like, the third halts are usually a little tricky. Like, that's my rule. The third halt gives a perfect dip and rip, but this thing moons. And I'm just there sitting like, it's like, man, you have everything you need to do great on this stock. With how this is like my dream to trade these type of stocks. And here I am, and it's like again, there's something like holding me back, it feels like. But I cannot get unlucky for long. This rough patch of me missing stocks, it's a decent month, but it should have been a great month. This can't last long. And don't worry, it won't. Relentless traders coming, man. The future is so bright, and I can already see the greatness waiting. If I continue to be disciplined, if I continue to progress, just think about me, 4 months ago taking a 2K loss. We've already come such a far way in just 2 months. 4 months ago, 2K loss, I'm done for the day. Now we're increasing our mental capital. We're slowly accumulating all the skills necessary to be great. I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be here the next day. I'm going to be here the day after that. I'm going to be here next week, next month, the next year. This is business. There's risks. There's things we can't control. But as long as I can have a chance and an opportunity, I will make whatever adjustment is necessary to ensure success. It's me versus myself, and I know mentally I can win the battle. I know mentally I can be my best self. I'm capable of being disciplined. I'm capable of following the rules. I'm capable of pushing through adversity. I will not stop. And so right now, I'm smiling. And despite this adversity, I feel great. I'm more motivated than I've ever been, and I feel ready. I'm ready for the next step, for the next opportunity. I'm ready to take on the next set of challenges. I will not stop. I will be relentless, always. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving up so much free game. I really should. To be honest, I should not be doing this. But I'm doing it for the culture, man. It's the emotions, the excitement. This is why we trade. There's no running away. There's no shying away. Whether we've made mistakes today and in the past, today we get a chance to improve. Today we get a chance to step it up. So, in the next 5, 6 months, where will you be? Will you be stepping it up and improving? Or are you going to fade down to the other side? Guys, we have the power. It's up to you. It's up to me. We have to be our best selves. That's the only way we give ourselves a chance. So in 6 months, I'll see you once again. And I know damn well I will still be here. Will you? Will you still be here? So push yourselves, challenge yourselves, expand your comfort zone, and know that this can be done. I'll take my 1K, I'll smile, and I'll come back next time and I'll hunt down that 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50K day that I know I can. So, stay safe, stay green. It's been a big boy recap. Relentless Trader, after taking some massive losses and some massive gains, is signing out. It's mentally draining, but this is what I signed up for. This is what I asked myself to do. I'll continue to do it. And when I am drained, these type of recaps, these type of inspiration will get me back to full charge, baby. Full charge. Man, tomorrow cannot come any sooner. Let's get it. Stay safe, stay green.